Hi. So I'm multi-streaming tonight and I don't quite understand how it's working. So if you could shout out if you're on Facebook or YouTube. I just want to see if the chat's working. Or you could just ignore me, that's fine. Thank you, Glenn. So you're watching on YouTube and that's working fine. Is anybody watching on Facebook? I think there's 2 people watching on Facebook. Well, they're gone now. I don't know. Anyway, I'll get started and hopefully it's okay. Because I tried to create an event for Facebook and 1 second. And it seemed to, I don't know, not like that idea or not connect to it or something. Anyway, it's probably best I just get started. Yes, we have Facebook. Fantastic. Now I know that people commenting on YouTube won't be able to see people commenting on Facebook, so I'm going to attempt as much as possible to reread the comment just in case. Hi Hassan, thank you very much. I don't know why your comment's coming through twice on my list, but that's okay. All right. So these models that I'm drawing tonight, I started them for Lifedrawing the other night, and I wanted to work on these portraits. But it's kind of nothing to do with what I'm talking about, really. And I don't even know why I want to talk about it. But I guess just recently I've noticed how much creativity for me is a coping coping method. I find that it's almost like a distraction kind of thing. I love to just do something creative to kind of stop thinking, stop feeling in particular. Not that I'm not feeling when I'm creative, but it's just concentrated thought process. Whoa. Sorry, I've got this new thing. I've got this new tips thing up here. I don't know. And yeah, anyway, sorry, distractions. I think, recently I've sort of started doing TikTok-esque videos, just doing camera tricks. And I realized the other day how much I went out and had this idea for something, and I went out because of lockdown. I just was by myself in a mask, And I just filmed all this stuff that went along with my idea. And I just noticed how in the moment I was. Sometimes people call that a state of flow. But I was just, I don't know, I was doing things and I was obviously concentrating on, you know, what I was doing, but I don't know what that is. Is that a like? Is somebody liking? Thank you, anyway. Yeah, I copied very quickly. Not sure what that means. Because the chat's a little bit delayed, I assume. Oh, the walking, yeah. So I did a I did these walking videos where I just got creative with how I edited them together. But anyway, I think just creativity in general is a great way to cope with anything, like to deal with things. I'm just a big advocate for that. It sort of distracts you, but it also keeps you creative, you know. You're kind of concentrating on something, and you're kind of doing something at least. And my other thing that I've felt more recently, is that anything. Thank you, Glenn. Glenn said it helps if you're as talented as I am, but that's not my point. I honestly believe that anything creative you do is beneficial to being creative. As in, even if you stop halfway through, you know, if I go, oh, actually, I'm done with this picture, I don't think it's looking very good. There's still things that I've learned. I've still developed myself. And I think that's how I think about all creativity. And even if your job is one thing, or let's not talk about jobs. Your goal, like say, I want to be a famous illustrator. But if I do something that's got to do with other digital art, like coding and high generative stuff, it still helps me on this road. You know, any creative thing is going to develop your creative skills. And I think that goes for even like just problem solving, really. Sorry, I sort of stopped and waffled for a bit there. Did some hand gestures. I feel like Philippe over here, that's Philippe, I feel like he looks like a sassy Vulcan. Like you know, from Star Trek. I love it. Yeah, so Steve on Facebook said he's thrown himself into projects that he doesn't do day to day, but he's learning as he goes along, and it helps him focus. Hello, Steve. Exactly, you can just do stuff. I mean, I suppose maybe I'm the sort of person that when I do creative stuff, I deliberately want to do something that I don't know. So I sort of push myself with every project that I do. But I feel like that is creativity, right? Yeah, Hassan says when he paints, he forgets the world's problems. It's great. I had some boy issues, let's say that. Just a dating thing was causing me grief, and it was not their fault at all, really. I mean, it was their fault. They were doing weird things, but it was my issue was that I was getting too, worked up about things, and so I deliberately just went and just did some work on my illustration, just to stop thinking about it, and it really helped. I think especially now, it's something that I've been really thinking about these days, because it's particularly in Melbourne, obviously, we're stuck inside. Can I just ask a quick question? Did anyone on Facebook, was my live event connected to the live video? Because I don't really understand how this is working. No worries. Thank you. Glenn has asked me, when do I switch off and go free when art is my career as well? Well, hi, Jason. So the question was, when do I switch off? My work's very different. My work is unfortunately very corporate and very, as far as corporate jobs go, it's probably more creative, but it doesn't really scratch my creative itch, and let's be honest, I've got a big itch. That was such a funny joke. I'm really proud of that one. It doesn't creatively scratch that itch for me. So I actually tend to dive into more of my other things, like illustration and my other art, whenever work is not fulfilling that creativity, and in other jobs in the past where the job has been highly creative, I noticed that if looking back on it, I'll have taken a step back from my personal creative projects. I'd take a step back just because I was being so creative at work, it was sort of wearing me out. So that's my answer. Hassan has asked what I do. I am a motion graphic designer, which is basically animation. It's basically making things move like this. That's what I do for a living. Glenn is full of the questions tonight. I love it. He asks, is there a creative outlet I've always wanted to try but haven't done yet? It's a really great question. I don't know about that. I'm liking these questions. Makeup. I funnily, well, that's a great example of what I was saying before, actually. I don't know a lot about like I'm not good at makeup, but I have watched some tutorials, particularly on contouring and how you can change the shape of your face and stuff. And that stuff is really interesting, especially doing portraits like this, because then, you know, you learn about things like the shapes that you want to accentuate and stuff. And often when you're doing a portrait, you know, the T-zone there. I probably wouldn't have known about the T-zone if I hadn't looked at makeup tutorials. But I don't know, it's not really something that I want to do. Actually, something that I'd love to do, but I don't feel like I've had the time to commit to it, is like mural stuff, big artworks. But that just feels like a whole other ball game. Yeah, Glenn's going to teach me makeup. That's great. Maybe we can have some sessions. Actually, I really just want you to do my makeup. A bit dark under the eyes there. kind of nice talking while I'm drawing because I'm not concentrating on the drawing too much. Like I'm not getting overprotective. I'd love to do murals. I have an idea for I'll come back to that, Glenn. But I want to do a tutorial on YouTube and Facebook on how you use reference images, you know, because it's one thing to just do it digitally, but there's all these different ways that you can use a reference image to draw something in real life. And there's some really cool ones, especially for mural art, that I think are really interesting, and not a lot of people know unless they've, you know, really deep dove. Unless there's diving deeply. Oh, let's have some more wine. Anyway, there's this cool stuff, like if you want to enlarge something, you don't have to actually do the grid method. You can sort of make your own grid. It's hard to describe quickly, but I'll do another video on that. Nobody's asking about it anyway, Stephen, so you're just waffling. Glenn's asked, are you going to sweeten these guys? I feel like they're pretty sweet already. And I know you're referring to my sweetened selfies. The definition of the sweetened selfie is, whoa, sorry. I just got a whole heap of comments coming through. This is not working that great. Yeah, Facebook chat is just like resending the comments. I'll see if I can bring up the actual post here. So then I can read the comments separately, and they're not confusing me. Henny. I do. So for a bit of context, I just signed up to this feature with Streamlabs, which lets me multi-stream. To a couple of places. And it's very new to me. So Hassan wants to know about the grid method. Okay, I'll quickly show you. So let's get an image. Let's get me, right? This is harder to explain because I haven't thought about it. Hang on. So the idea is, if you've got a wall, right? So imagine this is actually, imagine that this is actually a wall, right? And what you can do is spray paint your grid on there. So, what's happening? So you could just do anything, like, you know, whatever you want. They usually do shapes and things. If you look out for it, you'll see, like, when they're making a mural, you'll see this sort of like underneath where they're going, right? So then they'll take a photo of that pattern, and then digitally they'll essentially do this. They'll get it into their phone. They'll put an image over the top like this, right? And then you know, screen grab that. This is a terrible example because so done, save. So then once they're back on the wall, so this is the wall, but then they've got on their phone or their iPad or whatever, they've got this as a reference, right? But it's tiny, but then they can see that they need to go, oh, the hat is, you know, there-ish, the brim of the hat. The face sort of comes down here, goes down here, and the chin comes up through there. Is everybody getting this? Does that make sense? So basically it means they don't need an actual grid. Like they can just draw, you can just draw whatever you want. Drawing guide, is that it? Yeah. So you could do the same with this, but it's harder to draw a full grid on a giant wall than it is to just draw squiggles, you know. Anyway, look out for the tutorial explaining that in much more detail. This is fun. This is fun. I'm glad I went back to Facebook. I think it gets a little bit more engagement. So I've also, up there is my tips, tips page, and if you tip, it makes a little notification just here, so you get to be famous. I don't know, I'm not good at asking for money. Like I'm not desperate. I'm a privileged white person. You know, I do this for fun. But it's nice to be appreciated as well, you know. And I guess ultimately I'd love for this to, just the tip, I'd love to be doing my art full time. It just says new like, that's what it says. I see. I missed the like last time. Thank you, Hassan. Can somebody like the video on YouTube, please? I want to see if it works. Can Old Fingers and the Jake please like this? I want to see if the thing goes off. So eyeballs, right? You want to treat them like literal balls. So you want to imagine that, because that part of your eye is actually only a tiny bit of the whole ball. So you want to imagine that there's this shape like that in there. And you want to shade accordingly. So what I usually do is shade these bits and under here quite heavily. I mean, generally I overshade, but that's a stylistic choice. Yeah, I don't know how I can add chat to the stream. I like the real estate though. I like the real estate that this has on the screen. I guess I can have less of me. Can I just add this live? Does that work? Let's try it, why not? Can someone say something? Suddenly eyeballs are gross. Can someone on Facebook say something? Maybe I could just say something on Facebook. Yes. Why does it? Oh, that's so cool. Why didn't I think about this? Okay, it's difficult to read, but I'm just going to leave it there for now. So everybody can see. Oh, this is fun. Hello. So, I did another Yep. Maybe I should put it over my face. No, it's fine, man. Anyway, I did another one of the life drawing things where I did Marlon with flame hair. Well, it's delayed, but at least you can see other people's responses on different platforms. That's kind of cool. And FYI, Facebook has auto captions. I don't know how well it works, but I thought that was kind of cool as a bit of a accessibility feature, whereas YouTube doesn't have that, unfortunately. I'm going to call Philippe Blonde Spock. I don't think I can change the latency. Do I ever get a writer's block, creative block? To be honest, not really. I definitely do with work, like when I'm forced to be creative. But usually if I'm doing something like this, actually that's not true. No, like, because I've been trying to keep up this Wednesday night drawing thing, and sometimes I have trouble figuring out what to draw. But I don't know, there's usually something that comes up and it works out. No, that's probably not a very helpful answer. I'm doing this thing lately that I really like, which is I tend to really like to overemphasize the eyes, but I really like putting a highlight right on the top edge of the eyelid, the bottom eyelid, so it looks really thick. I don't know why I do that. I think that's style. Like, I was doing a portrait of Pete last week, and in his photo reference it was very much like that. It was really light on top of the, like on the rim of the eyelid, and now I like that. So I've sort of added that to my bag of tricks. How do I get out of creative block? The lower waterline. Ah, okay. Thank you. I like that. Any other cool makeup tips? I mean, makeup terms, let me know. Love that shit. Oh, sorry, it's supposed to be PG. How do I get out of it? I think what I find most effective is to do something completely different to what I'm trying to achieve, and think creatively about how I can scissor that, you know. No, think creatively about how I can pull this idea from over here into here. Now I need an example of that. I can't think of one. I think just I find getting out of the headspace of the rut helps me. So particularly with work, if I need to come up with an idea, I find it better to go for a walk rather than sit at the computer and look at Pinterest all day. I don't know. I think different things help, like different looking at different things really helps me. These guys both had really dark eyes, and I think I want to do them near black. They were so pretty. Both of them were just gorgeous. Hey Linda. Hey Linda. Yeah, both these boys were just gorgeous. I'm not I don't quite get their look, but I very much appreciate how committed they are to it. And I think they look good. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know that I would ever do my hair. I don't know, they're just both very striking, and I like it. Let's just leave it at that. Plus, they were both super lovely during the Lifedrawing session, which always helps. Just so nice. I highly recommend doing Lifedrawing, especially with Jean-Luc, who organises the gay Lifedrawing. Even if you feel like you're not good, I think you should just go. There's lots of amazing artists on there, and I feel intimidated. Well, not intimidated, but sometimes I look at their work and I'm like, how did you do that? How did you do that in, half an hour or something? But there's so many different styles and levels of skill. I think it's really cool. Actually, Lifedrawing helps me get out of a rut too, because sometimes I've gone to Lifedrawing and I actually haven't felt like drawing a person at all. Like, I've been like, not really into it tonight. This is a great example. So here, I'll show you. So just to prove that I don't always do, I can objectively say that this image worked out well. And this one did as well. This one's quite cute. This one, I was winning, right? But they did, that's only 4 poses. They actually did a ton of others after that, and I deliberately didn't do them because I wanted to work on these ones. So I spent a lot of time on these. But check out these. These are my, I mean, that's kind of cute actually. But these are my 2-minute poses. I mean, what is that? I think that was a bit longer. I can't remember. I think I just stopped that one. But anyway, so I think often Lifedrawing has sort of forced me to just do it. I think that's really important too, just doing something creative. Like, there's been times where I don't feel creative, so I don't, I'm like, I just want to sit on the couch and watch, I don't know, Brooklyn Nine-Nine or Rick and Morty. But sometimes if I just force myself to watch some to to draw. Actually, I can also draw and watch something, so that's always good. Anyway, I'm not sure if any of that was helpful. I'm just talking to myself, which is also fine. If your eyes don't look, it's a bit of both. Sorry, Hassan has asked if Lifedrawing is still on Zoom or in real life. I've done one session in the venue, but then, yeah, I mean, coming out of lockdown from last year, I was actually feeling really anxious about it, and that's a perfect example of the topic, actually, creative coping. So I was in this room full of people feeling extremely uncomfortable, but once I could just concentrate on like trying to draw the model, and it really helped me to not feel so anxious because I wasn't thinking about my anxiety. I was just doing something. But anyway, yes, so it has been in real life. The other night was back on Zoom because of the lockdown in Melbourne. Yeah. And also going back into the venue, I was worried I wouldn't be any good at it. Like, I was worried that I got used to, that's fine, Mum. I was worried that I got used to life drawing from a screen, because obviously a screen is already 2D and you're just translating a 2D image to another 2D image. But I surprised myself. I was actually, I still had it. Still had the it's not a gift. I don't want to say it's a gift. The knowledge of how to draw someone. And let me tell you something. If you start drawing portraits in particular, but just any people, if you start drawing people, you will 100% start noticing all the little things. Like, you'll be talking to your friends and they'll be telling you something really important and deep, and you'll just be looking at how these bits of flesh connect to the nose there, and is it bigger than, you know, the person you drew last night? Like, is it fatter or is it thinner? And then you'll start thinking about, like, oh, that plane of their head is really indented in that place, and what are they talking about? And you'll be a bad friend. That's my advice. No. I don't think my talents are a gift. Personally. If I was to say that I had a gift, it would be that I keep doing it. Like honestly, like anybody can learn how to draw. You've just got to be persistent. Thanks, Liz. I got this new setup. Sorry, what was I talking about? Yeah, you'll start noticing things like you'll be like, oh, this fit. This is actually quite a lot lighter than this fit. It usually is actually. That bit right there, because it hits, the light hits it. So now you know, if you're ever like out with me and I'm like zoning out. Ugh, it looks like a Miss Piggy nose. I'm ever zoning out, I'm probably looking at someone's face. I look like I've got tired eyes, but I like it. Sorry, fellas. I mean, it's all just going into my head, so I'm thinking about it all. I'll be thinking about, you know, how I would draw, not how I would draw them, but just, I guess, being observant and noticing things. Maybe I am on the spectrum. I haven't put a lot of detail into their body, but maybe that's okay. If you ever want to soften things, just make your brush really big, make your opacity really low, and just grab a neutral, you know, middle color. Just start going over it, you know. Winning. Just going to delete my signature there. What's the time? Oh, it's gone really quick. But I've enjoyed our time together. I think it's time I added some highlights. still find hair quite hard to do. Oops, crap. Wrong layer. Question about creative coping. Do you ever switch off from art or creativity? I mean, I do. While I say that I'm not, you know, anybody can learn to draw or paint or whatever, I do not switch off. But I've never considered that a bad thing, to be honest. It's not that I'm always like thinking about it's not that I'm always thinking about being creative. It's just that there'll always be part of my mind that's ready to receive creativity. It's just like gaping open for creativity, wherever it may be. So if I'm out somewhere having a drink or whatever, someone might say something, or I might see something that actually sparks some little idea, and I'll be like, oh, that would be a really cool concept for X. For example, I've been doing these videos on my Facebook, my personal Facebook, and I've joined TikTok, everyone. So I'm actually a TikTok influencer now, so you better be careful. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so I saw something that made me realize, I think I saw a video of it was like a time-lapse thing, but because they had one thing in the center and they sort of panned around it, but it was like a time-lapse, your brain it just was really smooth and it worked, and it gave me the idea that if you've got one thing to focus on and everything else is going nuts, it can still work. So I took photos of myself standing in a very similar position at a similar distance from the camera. I took about maybe 50 or 60 photos, and then just put them together and lined them all up so that I was standing in the same sort of spot, and it worked really well. But the initial concept, it wasn't because I saw that exact video, it was just because there was the idea of how it works. Linked to me. My TikTok is Briefly Steve, one word. Briefly Steve, one word. Anyway, I should probably finish up soon, but I'll croaky. It's the reflux. I think I'll do some pink lighting. I feel like it's got the blue background, but I might oh, Tora Hyman is following you. I wonder who that could be. I'll follow you back after this. I'm concentrating. Actually might change this color, I feel like. Maybe it's okay. Maybe if I change the ending mode. I don't love it, but it'll do for now. It's because life is brief. So I'm only briefly Steve. But also, I wear briefs. So I'm also briefly Steve. Makes sense, right? But yes, I'm just using TikTok for my crazy videos. So cool how much a little bit of lighting just helps it. I feel like a broken record when I say that, because I feel like I say that every freaking stream. And the cool thing about light is that you can just like do the shadow as well, the same way. Let's try maybe red. No. The blue's not right, but I'll fix it in a second. Yeah, maybe they will cast shadows. I don't know. I don't know how much I want to affect the background. I could try it. Let's try it. I don't know. I'm not liking this purple though, to be honest. I think I've ruined it. Red it up a bit. Oh, sorry. Did I miss something? No. Oh. Oh, golly gosh. Yes. See, his neck looks really cool, but Philippe's not so much. Because he's quite leaning quite forward. I haven't really captured it quite well enough. Quite like looking at it on there. It's funny how just bringing your mind out of the context that you're stuck in helps you. I've found sometimes, I'm going to leave you with this gem. Sometimes when I've been painting or drawing stuff and I've been really stuck into it, I'll be like, yes, this is so good. It's like perfect. And I'll go export, share, send to my phone. And I'll look at it on my phone and I'll be like, oh, that's gross. There's this thing that I completely missed. looks ugly. And I'll go back and fix it. So, look at your art in different contexts. Or just go away from it and come back to it. I think that's helpful. Anyway, I'm going to say goodnight and congratulations, Melbourne. We're out of lockdown. We're back to normal tomorrow, except for masks inside or outside where you can't social distance at your discretion. And I believe there's only 5 people allowed in a house. Anyway, at least you don't have to wear masks when you're exercising or going for a walk, which is my favourite. Bye everyone, thanks for putting up with my weird streaming issues. I think it's worked out alright. We've had fun, right? Yeah, we've had fun. Yeah, so tonight's lesson is just be more creative. If you're feeling shit, if you're like ruminating on something, what's something creative that you can do? Can you, I don't know, draw something, bake something? Just be creative. Anyway, good night.